so happy to be here with you today. This is such an important topic, tending the heart, tools and practices for helping build emotional resilience and healing. Emotions are such a vital part of who we are as human beings, and yet they can be tricky to navigate for many different reasons, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's take a look at what we are going to be covering today. And while I pull up my screen, I'm going to invite you, if you have paper and pen or pencil at hand, this is an experiential workshop webinar that we're doing together. So I'm going to invite you as we do the different practices to reflect on them. And so it's handy to have the paper and pen or pencil to do that if you have one on hand. So what we're going to be covering, we're looking at emotional regulation, resilience, a focus on ourselves as individuals, but also collective, right? How we are being with each other and how we can support each other for our emotional health and well-being. I'm going to guide you through different practices that we will do together. Of course, as Krista said, take care of yourself through this. So if it doesn't feel right for you, you might just listen or watch, otherwise participate. We're going to start with a nice grounding meditation. Just whatever it took to get here, you're here, we've arrived. So we'll just take a little time to breathe and ground together. Then we're going to look at a little bit about emotions, emotional resilience. Then we'll get into the practices as individuals. Then we'll look at the collective care aspect, and then how we can incorporate these practices into your daily life to support you ongoingly through all that is arising every day in our lives. So let's begin with a nice grounding meditation. This is a 3-2-1 meditation. And so we do this with the eyes open. At any point in time, if you are feeling really pulled and off center, this is a really nice meditation to do. And so we simply take a moment, and from where you are seated, just look around your space and take in 3 colors. And as you take in the color, name the color. And now take in 2 sounds. So eyes can stay open or closed, 2 sounds. And now notice your breath. You might want to close your eyes here. As you are breathing, notice cool air enters your nostrils and warm air exits. Cool air enters and warm air exits. Cool air enters and warm air exits. Return to natural breath and just notice we are landed in the space we are in through color, through sound. We are grounded in our body through breath. 3 simple breaths. Thank you. So actually, before we go to this slide, I want to talk a little bit about emotions. What are emotions? We know what they feel like. What are they? What are their purpose? There is within us, when we feel an emotion, a physiological and a psychological response to a stimuli, something happening, someone, a situation, right? We are responding physiologically and psychologically to what is happening. Why do we need emotions? Right? They help us to survive. They help us to connect. They bring meaning into our life. They tell us what's important to us and what we value. They guide us in our behavior, in our relationships, and in our decision-making. So a wealth of human beingness comes from our emotions. Why do we turn away from them if they are so vital and essential to who we are? How much they inform our lives and guide our lives? Why do we turn away from them, as many of us do? Often it's the situation we're in, right? It's not an appropriate time or an acceptable time to express the emotion. So we turn away from it or push it down. It might be that we're not comfortable with the emotion or we don't know how to positively express the emotion. So there are there's many more reasons than that. Those are a few reasons why we might turn away from or deny the emotion that is arising in us. But what happens when we do that? Emotions are energy, right? There's a physiological response that's happening, right? You feel the energy of an emotion, energy in motion, emotion. So when we don't allow that emotion to mobilize something in us, that we express the emotion, we store it, right? It gets stored in the body. And if we do a lot of storing over time, it's very taxing on the body, right? It can cause a lot of tension in the body, muscle strain or headaches. We can end up with so much pressing down that we get an eruption, we get an inappropriate expression of emotion at a different time, okay? So the build up can cause a lot of problems. We want to find a way, even if in the situation that we're in, the emotion isn't, if we're not able to express it in that moment, we want to be able to express it at a time that is safe and accessible for us to do so. And so these practices are part of it, and something to do as a daily practice, any one of these ones that I'm going to share with you, so that we can continue to really be comfortable with our emotions, take care of ourselves with emotions, learn how to express them in healthy and positive ways that have positive outcomes for us. So on the flip side of what happens when we don't deal with our emotions is, what is the benefit of taking care of our emotions, of building up this emotional resilience? So it improves our mental health, right? We feel better. We feel that we are able to navigate what is coming up in our lives positively. We're able to cope with stress, right? Resilience is that ability to have something arise, to navigate it to the positive outcome. So we're able to navigate those waves of emotional stress and general stress. And strengthens relationships. When we are more comfortable with how we are being with our emotional state, then we are more comfortable, more authentic with each other. So it really strengthens relationships. It fosters growth, right? It challenges us, right? Life challenges us. So as we are able to meet the emotions as they come up, the positive outcomes, and then that is a personal growth that we experience. Improves physical health. We don't have all this energy trying to manage the emotions. We have this energy, this vitality to live our lives to the fullest. And there's one more that's tucked right behind my screen: enhances problem solving, right? So when we are able to connect to the emotion and through self-care express it, then we're able to find solutions for what those emotions might have been asking us to address. Oh, yeah, click on to here. So what is emotional resilience? So the ability to adapt, right? So we don't ever want to be not emotional. We don't ever want to not feel our emotions. They are vital, right, to who we are as human beings. But we want to be able to feel them and navigate through them, right? And each time we do that, we build up more strength to be able to navigate our emotions, okay? So when we are emotionally resilient, people who are emotionally resilient, they use these practices. There are many, many. I'm sharing some with you, but they have some way of connecting to their emotions and expressing them in a positive way, either in the moment or at a later moment. They're able to express their emotions in a healthy way, right? We're able to seek connection, because when we deny or turn away from our emotions, often there's a turning away from self and others. And so we isolate, right? So when we are emotionally resilient, we're able to connect with ourselves and connect with each other. What is more beautiful, right? Life, about that deep connection with ourselves and each other. We're able to remain calm, right? Calm and grounded, even when the storms of life are happening. And we are self-aware. We are compassionate. We are connected to a deep emotional state of compassion. That is the foundation of emotional resilience, emotional groundedness and calm. Okay. So building blocks, how do we get there? How do we get there? Building emotional resilience, self-awareness. We're going to do a few practices to help us really connect to what we are experiencing. Your mindfulness, somatic connection. Somatic is the felt sense in the body, and compassionate presence. And then we're going to move into self-care practices. So in somatic awareness, not just connecting to what we're feeling, but more aware of what that experience is. The expression in a safe way, in a very personal, safe way. How do we express the emotion? And then emotional regulation. How do we navigate when we feel an emotional state rising? How do we navigate back down to calm? And then we're going to look at collective care, the importance of that sense of belonging, of empathy and compassion for self and others, and the gift that comes in sharing. So starting first with the self-awareness practices. Here we are. So the self-awareness practices help us understand what we are feeling and how they are affecting us. Say the emotion, there is a physiological and psychological response, and each emotion has a different imprint. And so we want to really feel, what is the imprint? What am I experiencing? And this is the foundation. This is absolutely the foundation for being able to navigate the emotions, to first be in touch, not let the emotion rule you, but to let yourself be aware of and in control, for lack of a better word, in control of the experience so that you can navigate it. Self-awareness practices foster better communication, right? Understanding of ourself, and then a clearer communication from that place, stronger relationships, and a greater capacity to navigate the difficult situations. So we're going to come into the practices. Mindfulness is the first one. We did a little bit of that earlier. We did the grounding. So now we're going to move from one practice to another, and then we'll do a reflection at the end. So you might choose to have your eyes open or your eyes closed, right? Just what's comfortable for you. So this practice, mindfulness, means paying attention on purpose to the present moment without judgment, right? It's just being here in this moment, not dialoguing with it, not pushing against it, wishing or something else, but being present. And so in this moment, I'm going to invite you to focus on something. If your eyes are open, it could be one of the colors that you identified earlier. It could be a picture. When we settle the eyes, it helps to settle the mind. If you prefer eyes closed, then you take your inner gaze to your brow point, just the center of your forehead. So settling the eyes means less stimulation into the brain, so the mind begins to quiet. And now, once again, as the eyes are settled on an outward or inward gaze, begin to notice your breath. The cool air coming in your nostrils and the warm air going out. You can help your mind to settle on the breath by saying to yourself as you inhale, I'm inhaling. As you exhale, I'm exhaling. I'm inhaling. Nice. I'm exhaling. And you could even use the word, as you inhale, say long. As you exhale, calm. Inhale long. And exhale, calm. Very nice. Continue. Your gaze is settled outward or inward at brow point. And your mind is paying attention to this breath. And you'll notice there's distractions come, right? And this is part of the practice. No, this is normal. Each time you get distracted, come back. You turn back to pay attention to your breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Long, calm. Continue mindful breathing. I'm going to guide you now into the somatic connection, the connection with your body. So as you are breathing, let your awareness now go to your feet and just notice your feet. It can be helpful to say to yourself, these are my feet. Notice your legs. These are my legs. You can even move them a little bit. These are my legs. You are simply cultivating mind-body connection, being aware of your body, being aware of your buttocks. Maybe the contact of your buttocks to your chair, couch, whatever you're sitting on. Your hips. These are my hands. Awareness to your hands. Maybe wiggle the fingers. These are my fingers. It's a simple connection with your body. These are my arms and shoulders. This is my throat. Maybe take a little swallow. This is my throat. Nothing you need to do, no right or wrong, just simply noticing, connecting. This is my face. Can you feel your lips from the inside? What do your cheeks feel like? Your eyes. Notice your chest, your belly, your spine. For a moment, just let your awareness take in your whole body, noticing the aliveness through your whole body, connecting to your whole body. We are in a mindful presence. We are connected with the experience in your body. We'll now shift to cultivating compassionate presence. So taking your hands and rubbing your palms together, and feeling that little bit of friction, maybe some heat, bring one hand to your belly and bring the other hand up to your chest. So with your hands on your body, more connection. If it's not comfortable, no worries. Just bring your awareness to belly and to chest. Really meeting yourself where you're at, so important. Now, as you are breathing, imagine that your breath begins to flow in and out of the hand that's at your chest. So you are breathing into your chest. You are breathing into the space of your heart. And this is an energetic connection with the energy at your heart. The hand on your belly is grounding you. The hand at your heart connecting you to the space of your heart. And I want you to begin to imagine a place you love. It might be a place you know. It might be a place that you simply make up, a place that you love, that feels safe. Beach, forest, bedroom, wherever it feels safe or it feels, I love this place. And as you imagine this place that you love, you are beginning to cultivate more of that quality, that energy of love in your body. They're using the image, which directly affects the experience in the body. You think of when you're watching a movie and you have an emotional response to what you are watching. We can create that by imagining the place you love. And as you do that, you begin to cultivate that emotion of love in your body. A few more breaths as you imagine the place you love. Really take in its colors, any sounds, as if you were there in this moment. Just feel that energy of love growing stronger as you take a few more breaths. And then as you are ready, just let your arms release them down by your side and float your eyes open. I'm going to invite you to do a little reflection. So you could write it if you have a piece of paper. I would love if you can share in the chat box. When we did the somatic connection, when we connected into the experience through the legs and the arms, what did you notice? What sensation, what experience did you notice? You can share in the chat box. That would be great. Nice to hear each other's voices. Sharing is part of our resilience, our healing.
We have someone saying calm and peace.
Yes.
Another son said they just zoned out.
Yeah.
I noticed the weight and lightness within my body, connecting back to myself, tears, struggling to keep outside thoughts out.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And know that that struggle to keep outside thoughts out, it's part of the practice, right? Each time you notice that, you just come back to the experience that you're focusing on, right? And over time, it's like a muscle that go to the gym to train the muscles. Each time you come back to focus on what you're choosing to focus on, that focus muscle, that mindfulness muscle gets stronger, okay? So keep it up and it will get easier. What did you notice when you were imagining the place you love? What did you notice? It might be more peace and more calm. Anybody notice anything else as you were imagining the place you love?
Someone said serenity,
Mm,
familiarity,
nice.
happiness, belongingness, safety.
Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. I cannot emphasize enough how powerful the moment is when you can imagine a place you love, when you are feeling a lot of emotional distress and you can't step away and take a break. If there is, the more you practice it, the more access you have to imagine this place you love. It moves through the nervous system and it will bring that calm, that sense of safety, even in the midst of chaos of everything else that's happening. Okay, so I really invite you to practice that a lot in any moment and to really imprint that experience so it is there for you when you need it. One of my favorite practices because it's just so enjoyable to imagine the places that we love. So we're going to shift from the awareness now to moving into the self-care. And so this really strengthens the resilience by doing these practices. It's a little more active, as you will see. This really, when we want to work with the nervous system, the emotional distress, like any other stress, activates the stress part of the nervous system. And so each time we do these practices, it helps to down regulate us and helps us to cultivate that calm. Okay. So we are able, as we do these practices, to feel that calm and then to meet whatever is arising in a more compassionate way and in a more, we have more agency in how we navigate. So we're looking at self-awareness, or somatic awareness, I should say. I lost my light there for a moment. And then somatic expression, and then emotional regulation. So this one, name it to tame it. So somatic, we connected to what is the experience that I'm noticing in my body as we went through the body. Now we're going to see if we can fine tune a little bit. You'll see on the side and this is a wheel of emotion. There's many more emotions. These are some of them. And you can take a quick look there and, content, happy, angry, enraged, lonely, worried. So a lot of different emotions. So now as we go through this practice, we're going to feel into what it is that we're experiencing. And again, you might want to simply watch this, sit this one out, but I encourage you, if it feels comfortable, to explore this as we're doing it together. And so you're sitting comfortably, eyes open or closed. Closed gives you more access to the inner landscape. But if it's more comfortable for you to have your eyes open, by all means, choose what feels best. And so now, as we come back to where we were a moment ago, where you are bringing your awareness through your body. So awareness moves through your body. Just notice if there is an emotion that is present, right? Or a feeling, right? Feeling is just the naming of the emotion. So there might be a word that comes up. So name the feeling, name the emotion, and allow yourself to recognize it without judging it, right? This is a huge piece. Just to notice, oh, I'm angry, to notice, oh, I'm lonely, to notice I'm happy, to notice I'm feeling excited. And just name it, like we named the color that you saw when we began. Name the feeling, name the emotion. And now notice where it is in your body. Where do you feel? Where do I feel worry in my body? And this can be tricky, right? To discern where you are feeling it, but doing your best. And it is like the muscle that we train will get easier over time. So notice where you are feeling the emotion. And then what is that experience? Is there tingling? Is there warmth? Is there tightness? Right? Just notice what you are feeling, what the sensation is in the body. And again, without judgment, simply noticing it. I am feeling worried. It feels like a tightness, a throbbing in my elbow, a quickening of my heart. And now, as you are connected to what you are experiencing in your body, begin to breathe into this as if you could send your breath, as if you had your nose, lips exactly where you are feeling this emotion. Breathe into it and notice what happens. The breath will serve to regulate, to soften, to release the somatic experience. So breathing as if you had nose, lips right on the spot where you are noticing the feeling in the body, where the emotion is residing. Breathing into it and noticing what happens. Energy and motion. So as you breathe into it, it loosens up and you will notice the inner landscape shifts and changes. Softens, you might feel warmth or coolness, heaviness, lightness. Just for a few more breaths, you're doing great. A few more breaths, breathing into where you are experiencing emotion in your body. That's it. Now I'm going to invite you to do one more step here. We're going to express this sensation. So I'm going to invite you, as you inhale, you imagine you are breathing directly into this experience in your body. And as you exhale, I want you to move your body in some way where it feels some sense of releasing. So you might stretch your arms out, stretch your fingers. And then we take another inhale into where we are feeling that sensation. And then as you exhale, you're going to feel like you are releasing it. You might shake the hands out, shaking the fingers, and then inhaling into the experience. As you exhale, imagine releasing it. You might breathe it out. One more time, inhaling into the experience, maybe at my elbow, maybe my heart racing. And then maybe make a sound, releasing. And then do a few more on your own, breathing into the experience in your body. And then as you exhale, some action of releasing it through sound, through movement, through stretch. Just for two more, you are giving expression to the somatic experience in the body, giving expression to what was stored there, to release it, to let it go. At the end of your next exhale, just relax, return to natural breath, to the cool air coming in your nostrils and the warm air going out. Let your awareness move through your body and notice the aliveness now, especially to the area where you identified an emotion was stored, where you released it with a somatic expression. And when you feel ready, I'm going to invite you, you could do a third part of this. You could take your pen or pencil and draw on your paper some kind of image, a line, doesn't have to be anything artistic, an expression on paper of what was stored in your body as you were expressing it. Or it might be a word, it might be a thought that comes to you. So you could softly open your eyes and if you like, write or draw or color what you experienced. As you were doing this, if you'd like to share in the chat box, I would love to hear your voices of what feeling were you noticing? What emotion did you notice was stored in the body? Just putting that into the chat box so we can hear each other's voices. What emotion was present?
Someone said heaviness in my chest. This was lifted and I felt lighter.
Nice, nice.
Another said fear.
Yes, yes. And
Um,
yep, please.
sorry, nervousness, loneliness, worry, frustration, sadness made me cry.
And then after you did the breathing into it, after you did the expressing it through voice, through movement, then what did you notice? What was the shift that you noticed? What was the sadness, that shift, the lightness?
Someone said feeling deeply connected to
Mm,
myself.
beautiful,
A lightness in my heart and head, strength, hope.
beautiful, beautiful. So, a lot of the time when we turn away from the emotion, it can scare us sometimes, or we can be uncertain how to navigate it. But these practices give you, they're profound in how effective they are in helping you to identify what is already there within you, right? We're not adding anything. It's there within you and it is there to be expressed. So this is a very safe way. Breathing into it, sometimes just breathing into it allows the release. And if we need more, we just moving through the body, stretching, breathing, And that will help to shift it, to give it the expression that it's designed, energy in motion, right? It gives that expression that it's designed to do in a very safe way. I say these are profound practices and we're moving through quite quickly. So thank you. Thank you for participating and getting a sort of like an appetizer, getting a flavor for it. And you'll be receiving a handout so you can continue to practice with the guidance of the handout. So emotional regulation, we use the traffic light. We know green means go, right? Green means go. So we're feeling good, right? We're feeling good. Calm, focused, good energy moving through the body. Nothing is stuck in store, good energy moving through the body. Yellow, caution, like I'm feeling a little uncomfortable, right? Maybe a little anxious, a little frustrated, already confused, right? It's a little uncomfortable. Red is distress, right? Red, angry, right? The emotion starting to take over how we're being, right? In the yellow zone, we're aware of it and we're able to say, okay, I know, how am I going to choose to navigate this? What practice am I going to do? Red, it's really taking over. And so what we want always when we're practicing these practices I'm sharing with you or others that you know, to be in the green zone so that we are training ourselves to be in that place where calm, focused, and it's good energy moving through the body. And so that as we move through our day and we come to yellow, oh, I'm not so comfortable with this, we can choose to do a practice that brings us back into green. And usually with yellow, it's very simple, short practices, right? And we can do them in the moment, in a meeting, as we're taking care of something or someone, we can do our breathing. We can imagine a place we love, and that will bring us back to green. When red happens, as it will, it's life, as it will, we really need to step away. We really need to pause. And the more you practice these self-care practices, the more you'll be just navigating green and yellow. At first, you might have more time in red. So as possible, when you hit red, step away, a little break, a washroom break, a moment to come into one of the practices to bring you back down to green. Really essential. Otherwise, the emotion is ruling us. It's taking over how we're being. Right? And that can be harming to ourselves, to others. So we want to come back down to green in that moment, okay? As best as possible. And say the more you practice being in the green, you will just end up going green to yellow and it'll come back and forth through there because that's life. And the odd time we go up to red, you'll be able to navigate it with more agency. Now, we did a practice, one of the fastest ways, the easiest ways to down-regulate from yellow and even from red is to do the long, calm breath that we did before. And so that is simply in the moment when you are feeling the emotions starting to elevate, to start doing that, inhale long, and you can say it to yourself, and exhale calm. And so just in this moment, inhale, eyes open or closed. Inhale long, exhale calm. And if you have other words that have more meaning for you, inhale ease, exhale peace. Right? Make it meaningful for you. So it's not something you're doing from the outside in, it's something you're experiencing from the inside out. Inhale long, exhale calm. Inhale, ease and peace. And exhale, ease and peace. Do a few more times, usually 3, 5 breaths, and you will feel the down regulation. Just notice the shift in the experience in your body. So let your awareness move through your whole body once again. Just notice, just with a few breaths, long and calm, how you've been able to down regulate. And then when you're ready, softly opening your eyes. And I invite you just to reflect for a moment, what does green zone feel like for you? Just a few words when you're in green zone. What does it feel like for you? Perhaps spacious, calm, quiet. And you could write them or share them, please, giving voice to them so we can learn from each other, support each other, putting it into the chat box.
Someone said, calm, light, not so heavy and weighted, at ease, balanced,
Balance, beautiful, yeah.
safe.
Mm, yeah, beautiful. So identify for yourself 3 words that describe green zone for you and write them down or just register them, because that green zone is the one you really want to strengthen with your daily practice, so that it is a real anchor for you, and with the strength of that anchor, easier to navigate back to it through your day when things are arising. So we've experienced how we can support ourselves individually. As human beings, a big part of our strength is our collective humanity. And so, it's so important to understand that when we are denying our emotion, turning away from it, which happens where it's normal, we do that. When we do that, there's a disconnection that happens with our own self and those around us. But our healing happens in connection, right? We know that, when someone is hurt and we offer care, just that presence of somebody saying, I care, I'm here, is healing, right? So we want to understand that our own self-care practice not only helps with our own emotional resilience, but then as we show up with others, it helps others. And then collectively, we are stronger, okay? We, as human beings, we are interconnected, right? We can't separate. And so learning how to be with each other is a big part of emotional resilience. Empathic presence, compassionate listening, and understanding interconnected well-being. So empathic presence, being present with somebody. And we know too the power of this when we have something we need to share, something that is distressing to us, and somebody is with us and simply listening, not offering, what we need to do. There's a time and a place for that. But the healing really happens in that moment of saying, I'm listening, I'm here with you, right? Being present with. Yeah. So when we are practicing empathic presence, and this is where the mindfulness training can really help. As you practice mindfulness, your ability to focus on being present with another strengthens, so that I can really listen and be present with, listen not just to your words, but to your body, to the emotions that you're expressing. We want to really pay attention to what's unfolding without thinking when we're going to offer our advice. I say there's a time for it, but not within the empathic presence. We're simply holding space. 3, right? This is the trickiest part, because judgment is part of who we are as human beings. It helps keep us safe. We decide, this person is safe or not through the lens of judgment. But in empathic presence, judgment gets in the way, right? It blocks our ability to be present with another because we are taking a step back and judging. So this too is a practice, and you will notice the judgments come up, right? We are human beings and they come up. So you'll notice them, but then just let them go, let them fade away and say, I am present with you. I am present with you. I am listening, yeah, with my ears, with my body, with my heart. Empathic presence. Something I really encourage you to practice with a friend. And in the practicing with a friend, one of the really nice things to do when you are practicing empathic presence to say, okay, I give you a minute to share what you want to share. I'm simply going to listen. I'm simply going to hold space, compassionate space for you, and then take the turn for the other person. It's not easy. We love giving our 2 cents worth and our judgments, but for healing, for supporting each other, empathic presence is profoundly powerful. Being a compassionate listener, right? So listening with your heart. Again, practicing mindfulness so that you can give your full attention to the person you are listening to. And again, we don't want judgment. We also don't want to offer the fix-its, right? It's amazing how much healing can happen just in the sharing, right? Just in being able to share with somebody what we're experiencing. And then, what do you say? Because we all think, oh, I've got to offer something. It could simply be, thank you for sharing. Right? I really value what you've shared with me. And that's it. That's it. That's it. That's all. Right? Empathic presence and compassionate listening are very simple, but they're not easy. It is not our normal way of operating, but they are so powerful and so profound. Practice it again with each other. Again, compassionate listening can be practiced the same way as empathic presence, and you can do the two together. I give you a minute and I'll take a minute to practice with a friend. The neat thing about cultivating empathic presence and compassionate listening, one of my favorite quotes, the scent remains on the hand that gives the rose. The scent remains on the hand that gives the rose. So as you are offering empathic presence and compassionate listening, you also are receiving it. It's the gift. So interconnected well-being. Now we are inseparable from each other. This is our collective humanity. When we care for ourselves, we realize we're caring for each other, right? Sometimes it's hard, especially when we're caregivers, it's hard to take care of ourselves. But know that as you take care of yourself, you are taking care of others. Thich Nhat Hanh, the beautiful Vietnamese monk, says, we cannot pour from an empty cup. We need to strengthen our own emotional well-being, resilience, so that we are able to offer our best self to each other. Listening with empathy, acting with compassion, practicing gratitude and reciprocity, right? So that we're able to receive and give in equal measure. And that can simply be the attention and the care, right? The attention, the empathic presence, and compassionate listening. And then we want to be aware as we are moving through our day how what we are doing for ourselves is impacting others, because we know that it affects each other, right? We are interconnected. So in this reflection, taking a moment, if you could share who supports you, a group or a person, who supports you, or how do you support others? If you could share in the chat box or write your note in your reflection, who supports you, a person or group, or how do you support others?
Someone said family, spouse, group of friends.
Yeah, beautiful. Can be a spiritual practice, right? Something that you turn to. There's any support.
Friends and chosen family.
Beautiful, beautiful. Chosen family and friends. Yeah.
My boss, who is also my friend.
Ah, lovely, lovely.
Devotional music,
Yes,
chanting.
yes, yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful. I am grateful to know that you've got lots of support. So just to come back to where we looked at to build the muscle of emotional resilience, we looked at self-awareness, moved into the self-care, and then I've spoken to collective care. That looks like. So emotional resilience as a practice, each time you practice that muscle of emotional balance, stability, and grounded and calm, it gets stronger. Okay? I highly recommend practicing each day. The nervous system works best on regularity, right? So for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, something like that, right? A regular practice. Of course, you could do longer if you have time. You're simply, when you're doing your practice, checking in, right? How am I feeling? Right? Doing the mindfulness to come present, awareness through your body, noticing, right? Compassionate presence, so that what you are noticing, you can hold space for. Then going into the practice of breathing into it, naming it, right? Name it, breathe into it, and then doing some kind of release. Could be dancing, could be singing, right? The devotional chanting, beautiful. Could be writing, drawing. Some practice that allows the mobilizing of the emotion that was stored, okay? And then the collective care, taking care of being with each other, sharing with each other, right? So that as a collective, we are more emotionally resilient. We are supporting each other. Okay? So in this last reflection, which self-care practice did you find most helpful? I know we did a little appetizer journey through it, but which did you find most helpful? Is sharing that, writing it, or sharing it in the chat box? Which did you find most helpful?
Someone says meditation,
Mm,
all of it.
yeah. Beautiful. Happy, happy
Yeah,
to
all three, grounding,
Mm.
belly and heart breathing.
Yes, yes, yeah. It's one of my favorites. When and where can you practice? Just let's just throw a few out there, right? For me, it's always first thing in the morning and last thing at night. So I give it as an example. It sort of sets me up for my day and helps me release anything I've accumulated through the day. It is giving voice to what you're thinking as a place where you could, maybe it's down at the beach where you can give voice into the ocean, or maybe it's time on the phone or in the presence of a friend. Just naming a few through the chat box so we can hear each other's voices.
Someone said small amounts all day, early
Oh,
morning time, lots of morning.
yeah, yeah. Morning is nice to set up the day, and small amounts for the day is beautiful because you can continue that care and regulation through the day.
Yeah, breaks that they have during the day.
Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. Especially if you're on break with a friend, right? And you can do it together. So I would love, in concluding our time through the material, I'd love to openly floor for questions, any questions that you have or anything you would like to give voice to or share.
Yeah, so if you have any questions for Tian, feel free to type them in the chat or the Q&A. We have a couple minutes here. Um, Someone did say that sometimes the safest place is in my car driving to and from work, and it helps release a great deal of anxiety and stabilize me for the day ahead.
Thank you for sharing that. That is perfect. Yeah. It really speaks to when and where it's available for you. There it is. So thank you.
We have someone else saying, thank you. This refreshes and reminds me of my skills.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
Another said, my favorite time is after work, sitting in my backyard amongst the flowers and veggies in my zero gravity chair, listening to the sounds around me with my eyes closed.
Oh, thank you. I'm sharing that. That's beautiful. I love it. Yeah.
Someone did ask how to live the boundaries we have set, even if loved ones are no longer part of our lives.
How to live the boundaries we have set, even if loved ones are no longer part of our lives. Could you unpack how to live the boundaries we've set a little bit more? Just want to understand.
Someone else said, oh, unpack. How to unpack the boundaries we have set, even if loved ones are no longer part of our lives.
How to unpack. So if I'm understanding correctly, does this mean how do we respect our boundaries when someone, even if they're not with us, is triggering emotions in us? Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's what they're getting at here.
Okay. Thank you. Really important. And it can be confusing, especially if the loved ones aren't around and near us, or we're not involved with them, that we still feel those emotional triggers. It's the same practice. Allow yourself, when you are coming into your self-care practice, allow yourself to feel the trigger, right? You can create it with a memory and move through the practice to release it. Triggers happen when we've got something stored, and then there's a thought or something reminds us, and it touches to that emotion that's stored. So if you make that your practice, and you release what is stored through that triggering. The triggering has to identify where it's stored and what the emotion is, and then you do the releasing, then you will find the triggering reduces. You are able to hold your boundary very firmly. Does that help? And if you have a follow-up question, I'm more than happy to address it.